173,194 miles on the speedometer, 63 degrees Fahrenheit. It is March 29, 2023, and you guessed it, there is Linda, and I'm Cole. Welcome to the Please Subscribe show. Linda recently cut her finger 7 stitches, a total of 7 stitches, so we're following the instructions. Don't use any antiseptics, and if y'all have any comments, let us know. Looked like maybe one of the stitches had come out last night, and she did keep it covered in the shower with a grocery sack and we're just letting it congeal. So if you cut yourself, vitamin C is good because it helps with infections and things like that. You also want to eat the rind, not the outside of it, but the inside, the white side, which is on the other side. That's where most of the vitamin C is held. So yes, you want to eat most of the orange, but don't eat the outside because that can give you stomach problems. Only eat the inside. It's a white kind of skin substance inside of it. It is niacin. Sometimes they sell it on its own. Niacin. Should be spelled with an N-I-A. I believe C-I-N, niacin. This is also good for cuts. They put it in bread, but you can use it as well. Niacin. Did you find any of the water that has the salt in it?
No.
This is known as non-stick pads. They're breathable. And maybe this size, just to cover the wound only. I highly recommend this for any type of scratch or wound or anything. It's a triple antibiotic. This has the infection protection. It's pain in it. This is known as wound wash. So it's a sterile saline. You can get like dried blood and things like that with. We can use this, maybe a non-stick pad. Or do we use a smaller one, like a gauze pad, instead of the Band-Aid? So what we're gonna do is hold off on using the bandage. The reason why is because she still has stitches and we don't want the padding to get on to the wound. This is a non-stick pad and we're using tape with it. So if she has to do something like go back to work or maybe even take a shower, she can use the non-stick pad with the waterproof adhesive tape. And then of course you want to let it air out as much as possible so it congeals. We'll talk about that later. All right, for some of the emergency room said, the most important thing is keep it aerated, like you don't want to keep it covered unless you have to work. And then you want to keep things out of it. You want it to congeal and all that good stuff. So we're gonna have all the other medicine for backup. This is what I was talking about at Walmart. You want to take the rind right there. I learned this from The Fugitive, a guy named Harrison Ford. You eat that part, not that part, this part. I'll show you. That is the outer side. That'll give you stomach aches. This is where the vitamin C is. And it tastes kind of good. It has kind of a non-taste. But I'm teaching Linda this. Okay. Most of the vitamin C is right there in the white. So, they used to have these vitamin C pillars. You could peel the vitamin C. See? See, Linda?
Okay. I see.
You take it like this. And you eat the outside of it. You watch The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. He plays a doctor.
The outside of it is more like the inside of it.
It's the inside of it, sorry.
It's okay.
That's the outside of it. This is the inside. She's right. Harrison Ford plays a doctor in The Fugitive. He does this in The Fugitive. Tommy Lee Jones even makes a comment about it. He was eating oranges. That's the most healthy thing on the planet, is this thing on the inside, especially if you're sick or you're on the run. I think he was injured. He was a fugitive at the time. The movie is called Fugitive. Highly recommend it. Tommy Lee Jones won Best Supporting Actor for that. Well-deserved win for Tommy Lee Jones. Eat the inside of it. Like that. See it? And if you carve it, you can carve it out and put it in a blender and blend it up. It's better to eat it directly, though. That's where the vitamin C is, right there. Now go watch The Fugitive. Very good one. Tommy Lee Jones has this monologue where he plays a... What does he play, like a ranger kind of character? I don't want to say a Texas Ranger. I know he's played one of those before. He plays one of those big guys. Anyway, that's looking for Harrison Ford, or like the fugitive character. We'll get to the character names later. But he comes out with this long monologue. I'll give him the description of him. He's got to be somewhere around here, you know. Can't be far. That whole thing was like his debut monologue. But he did it in a way that hadn't been done by an actor yet. Anyway, try eating this side and the inside of that. Oops, dropped it on the floor. Okay, don't eat that one. Here, give that one to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just try eating the inside of it. Don't eat the outside rind, inside of it. Did you get some of it? It has kind of a non-taste. So you ate some of the rind right there. Be careful not to eat that. Right, you'll want to spit that out. You have to scrape it. It's kind of like eating, what is that stuff that you make that has the meat in it, but it's actually a fruit? Artichoke hearts. It's like getting an artichoke heart and scraping that side of the artichoke heart. But you're doing it with an orange. It's also good just to do it all the time. It doesn't have a lot of sugar in it. And I could probably sell this stuff and make a lot of money if I come back around. But I don't want to do that. You don't want to sell vitamins online. Don't want to do that at all. No, nothing medical. At least you're like the major expert. Your noodles are done, Snickles. Oh, look who showed. Mr. Kitty, the master teacher. If you have a cat, you can learn so much about life. Go out and adopt one immediately. Right now, I command you. If you're a performer, you want a cat over a dog. Cats are cute. They get hired. They smell better. They can listen better. They're more in tune. Look how posed he is. Look at that cat. Very posed. Look at the attitude that he has. Now watch him walk. Go ahead and do some walking, kitty. If you want. Okay, there he goes. He decided. He makes the decision. So if you're a director, learn from the cat. He'll make the decision on what he wants to do. And if you tell him to do too much, then he'll start to bite you. Right, kitty? Okay, sorry about that. All right. Anyway, gotta get Linda fed. Then I'm personally gonna be dropping food at your door. Linda's on break. She's on thumb repair. I know, kitty. The cat is the method actor. Oh, the method actor. So you keep your distance and say, that's right, kitty. That's very good. Everything you do is great. It's very good. We all know it. Let's watch. Look at that kitty. Look at that kitty. Appreciate it.
Everything got quiet, and everybody thought the concert was over. And Jerry Ramone gets up there, and he was really tall and very like lanky and very awkward with big bushy hair. And he's like, "All right, Pittsburgh, I got a question for you. Do you want to be buried in a pet cemetery? 1, 2, 3, 4," and you want him into it. It was amazing.
The soil of a man's heart is stonier, Lewis. A man grows what he can, and he tends to it. Linda's on thumb patrol, so we would vlog the thumb, but it looks pretty nasty, so she's saying no vlogging of the thumb. So all you Stephen King fans, me being a very devout Stephen King fan, although I don't consider myself an expert on Stephen King. I do not. I do know they exist. I have seen all this, and I've had many of his books when I was younger. But the only book that I have now that I highly recommend if you're a writer or you like creative writing, this is the best creative writing book that I've read. Now, Woody Allen suggests one, and we'll get to that later. He's more of a text kind of creative writing. But this is a really good one. It just has a lot of heart. It's a memoir of, we've got doggy ear here, The Craft, he calls it. On Writing, I guess. You could say it's 2 titles. Stephen King on Writing. A memoir of the craft. A memoir. I love that word, memoir. It talks about his life and his sisters, and starts off and goes through his bad habits of Tommy knockers all the way to his accident with the van and coming back to life, being reanimated after Tabitha buried him in the pet cemetery and he returned. I didn't understand that chapter, but it was a private chapter that I got a hold of and read it, sent to me through the Spiritus Monday. Darling. Now for Linda. And I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. We got to find it. Here it is. This is what Linda likes to watch as she relaxes from her injury. And now, which one do you want to watch? Any of them? Let's go ahead and open it here.
I've seen them all a million times.
Does it matter which one? Just shuffle them up. That was interesting. Let's go. Season 5, Disc 2, Flash Photography.
Alright.
This is some of the blood that splashed up on Linda's glasses as she was waiting in the emergency room. I'm gonna clean it. Looks like some of it got on the edge of the frame too. Because prescriptions are not free, we have to tape her glasses with medical tape for now.
Oh, did you clean it? The glass cleaner?
Yeah, I put some witch hazel on it and cleaned it.
That lens?
Just the left one, I'm sorry. Do you want me to clean the
You
other
mean the
one?
right one?
No, I didn't clean that. I cleaned the other one.
You didn't clean? Can I go clean that?
Yeah, I can clean that. I'll clean it for you. Thank you.
Oh.
We do what we can, is what Stephen King was saying in Pet Sematary. Ultimately, our hearts are made a certain way because none of us are angels, but we do what we can. You'll be okay, my bird.
Thank you.
Give me a hug. You stay here, rest your thumb,
Okay.
and I shall return.
Okay.
And I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. Don't want to live my life again. All right, kitty. You watch over Linda. We've trained you well in all arts of kitty jitsu. You're a good kitty. Give me a handshake. Say, I don't want to be buried in a pet cemetery. I don't want to live my life again. Who'd want to anyway? A pet cemetery? I mean, come on. Well, Escape from Maine, I'm mostly, thinking of myself when I wrote it. But I was a pretty skinny cat when I was in Maine. I was like 155, about 155. They've got documents on it because they weighed us at the factory, at the wood mill. And I know an actor. Well, I don't know him. I know his brother. I'm pretty much like best friends with his brother. I was in college. His brother was a loyal friend, still even a loyal friend even today. He even helped me move into this place that we moved into. He helped me move the mattress. His brother's name is Danny, but the actor that I'm talking about is Johnny Whitworth, who, believe it or not, is kind of, he's a star, but, they always say anti-star because he's not like completely iconic yet. But he's been in everything from 310 to Yuma. He's worked with Christian Bell. He worked with Bradley Cooper right across the table from him in Limitless. Limitless is the name of the movie that Bradley was in. One of Bradley's first starring roles. He played the drug dealer in that. Also, Johnny Whitworth was he was opposite of Angela Jolie in Hell's Kitchen, which was a great performance. And not very long ago, he did a performance with Karen Allen called Bad Hurt. But I'm going to offer it to him. Every writer wants a certain person to run a big bridge right now. They always kind of have a person that they, have in mind that they want to be in it. But I'm going to offer it to him because, I have a way of doing that. So I don't really... I can't offer it to other actors, but I think he's going to be my first choice on it. Of course, I don't know if I'm going to be able to direct it. Hopefully, I'll at least be able to be on set. I'm trying to direct it in writing the script, certain close-ups, extreme close-ups, and wide-angle shots, which I want a lot of wide-angle shots, a lot of wide shots. Very Bergman kind of thing. Every director says that, but... I don't know, if they do give me the option to direct it, if the producers are the ones that make all that shot, because they're the ones that are producing the money, or at least they're finding the money to use. So if it gets to that level, I'm certainly going to I'm certainly going to mention Johnny Whitworth, as the lead role, as the role of Jonah in it. Also, I think in the book he's Jonah Samuel Camden III. I don't know if he's called that very often. Maybe when he writes it on the computer screen or something. But anyway, there were some aspects to what's happened to Linda that I remember in the mill, in the wood mill. There were some people that were working the lathe that had cut their thumbs pretty bad. Really bad. They sometimes would have to be rushed by helicopter to Boston, which is the most expertise hospital, the most sufficient, the most legit hospital, you could say, that can handle major wounds. If they ever had to be flown to Boston, they were flown by helicopter, and that could happen. And it had happened a few times. The guy that I substitute for the choppers, he had a thumb injury that happened at his home when he was working in wood on a table saw, and he cut the end of his thumb off. It was really bad. They had to fly him to Boston. But that was always a flight that we all dreaded and heard about, the flight to Boston, the Cara flight to Boston. And that meant it was bad, and they had to get you there to a really good hospital. Although I have to say that Maine has great hospitals. My wife, my second wife, the mother of my children, we had to take her to the ER during the honeymoon because she had a UTI, and the nurse there looked at it, and they were able to heal her in a couple of days with antibiotics. They're a good hospital. So they have good hospitals in Maine. Anyway, regardless, I might want to show some of that. Like show one of the injuries. I didn't think about that until this thing's happened. That's why scripts, you want to be patient with the script and take time with it. Let life interfere with the script and sink into the script so that you can put things in, and it'll remind you, it'll talk to you, it'll tell you, hey, remember me? I'm the hurt thumb. Now, I didn't hurt my thumb at the mill, but I got mad one time. I may want to put this in there too. I was upset and frustrated at the dating game that was going on in Maine because I had gone on many dates and I would never get a follow-up. One of the reasons I left, I guess, I wanted to meet my wife and start over or start a new life. And regardless, I guess I had gone on a few dates, and this one lady that I really liked, I think she was a Lutheran or a Presbyterian or something, but we had gone on a date. We saw Silver Linings Playbook together, which I thought was a lot of fun. And I told her that I had gone to the same college as Bradley Cooper and went to the actor studio and kind of probably was a little show-offy. And we went and saw Silver Linings. I really liked her. I thought she was a good writer. She had really good dialogue. She had written all this stuff to me. We were kind of pen pals for a little bit. I may put her in it. I'll have to go back in the book. Anyway, I am going to put that scene in it. Yeah, I'm putting the Waterville cinema scene where we go to the Waterville movie theaters to see, Silver Linings Playbook. I am putting that in there. But let me just get things clear real quick before I turn everything on. I have to start working. There's of course a scene where there's snow that comes down when we were leaving Silver Linings Playbook, and I guess my whole life was kind of ahead of me, and I told her I thought, I really like your writing. I think you're a great writer and all this stuff, and she was like, oh, that's interesting. And I think she found out I was writing the book Escape from Maine, and we were talking in the restaurant, but we had walked out and the snow was falling, and I think I had one of those snow brushes, and I was brushing the snow off my car and still kind of talking to her, and that was the last time I saw her. So then I got upset maybe a few days later. I was upset that she didn't really want to meet up again. We only corresponded through email from that point on, and I guess she was kind of busy. She was helping a wedding out and stuff like that. So regardless, I got mad at the recliner. The recliner is what you sit on. It's like you sit on a reclining chair. And I did the boxing routine behind it. I punched this recliner. And I guess I hit a stray piece of wood that was in the back of the recliner, and it caught the end of my knuckle. I did videotaped me treating it. And I had to wear a bandage for a week or two. It didn't need any stitches or anything, but it was pretty bad. It was almost to the bone. It seemed like it was, but it probably wasn't really that bad. It healed up after a month, but it scared me. It was a moment where there was blood drawn and I was scared. Didn't know how bad I hurt my hand. That will be in there, by the way. I'm not going to eat any tacos right now. I'm going to sit by them. This is what I call sitting by the tacos. I use discipline. So I don't have any tacos, no snacks or anything until things get too still. And then I have a little snack break. Don't know for sure if I'm going to be writing the next scene, Escape from Maine, tonight. I'm really busy. I'm focusing on work. If something comes up, I'll let you know. But I'm just still making notes. All the way from California. They're working on the roof, the Saltgrass, tarring the roof. You can kind of smell it from the inside. I thought it was a natural gas from the gas burners, but it's actually they're working on the roof, upgrading. And eventually, I'll be talking about what people that Jonah meets. I'm thinking this is early and this is a Guilford place, so I think the next scene is going to be when he meets Steven, the neighbor. And Steven comes in. He's kind of a drinker. He drinks like mixed drinks, like in the little tumbler, you know. He's kind of got long hair. He's a guy that has a son. His son ran off a while back. He works in the mill. Kind of have like kind of hippie hair. Older than Jonah, probably maybe like 15 or 20 years. And he comes in and asks if he could use the washer and dryer. Kind of a scene, having a Jack in the Box taco. It'll be kind of a scene that happens like that.